Okay, we're ready.
Hold on one second. Give me 1 second.
Do I have time to put my lip gloss on?
You're recording. You're ready.
Am I on? Thank you. Female aviators sticking together. Dawn's end goal with regards to her professional career is to change the face of aviation when it comes to her personal life. Her goal is to be an example of what is possible, not only to her 2 young daughters, but to all women. She's a native of the Virginia area and no stranger to aviation. As airplanes flew overhead daily from nearby airports, Dawn became passionate for aviation, and that began at a young age. Thanks to the encouragement of her mother, Conchita Wanzer Clark, she was also a flight attendant. She was a flight attendant and shared the world with Dawn and her siblings. At an early age, Dawn desired to be a flight attendant, but her mother said no, not knowing what other options she had to see the world and fly for a living. She was very confused. Her mother suggested she become a pilot. Dawn simply did not know this was possible. Fortunately, that was all it took to plant the seed of becoming an airline pilot. She was on a mission. Dawn completed her senior year of high school, not only with top honors, but also with her private pilot's license. This allowed her the opportunity to be accepted into Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Daytona Beach campus. And she began her freshman year 1 year ahead of the university's aviation curriculum. In 2004, Dawn was hired at PSA Airlines. Here she had the opportunity to fly her first jet, the CRJ 200-700. Her routes would take her up and down the East Coast for several years. She enjoyed her time at PSA, but never was allowed to follow the crowd. In 2006, Dawn decided to leave PSA when the opportunity to fly larger jets and international routes were presented at Sprint Airlines. She was hired and had a great time flying the Airbus 319-321 to various domestic vacation spots and to many Caribbean islands. Proud to serve over 12,000 women, FAST was developed to tailor a mentor program for young women seeking an aviation career. They have organized unique summits focused on the lifestyle of female pilots and have offered over $100,000 in aviation scholarships in 2021. When Dawn is not flying, you can find her reading, hanging out with her family and friends, and planning the family's next big adventure. As avid travelers, Dawn and her husband vowed not to give their daughters the world, but rather to show them the world. It's amazing what you can do when you don't know what you can't. Thanks to her mother, that is a lesson that Dawn knows all too well. Thank you.
Amazing.
Wow. Welcome, 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 First Officer Dawn Cook. Thank you so much for joining us here on the LDL Empowerment Platform. We are elated that you have come and taken the time out from flying to being on ground with us. I believe you flew last night, and I'm just excited to what is it like to be in the plane? I was just sharing with some of the team members this morning, a couple of months ago, before you had came to our knowledge about that you were going to do this. I had read a story about Jeff Bezos' girlfriend, who happens to be a Latina woman, but she's also an air pilot. She's a pilot. And I thought, you know what? I think I want to learn a little bit about helicopters. And she, just because I had read that. And then when I found out you would come, I was like, yes. And then I found out about all the stuff that I thought maybe not so much, So I kind of drive a little bit sometimes on the road in my car with my knees. I shouldn't tell that story, but anyway, so I'm from Long Beach. We had to learn how to do a lot of innovative things. So I think I'll stick to driving and let you go ahead and teach all the beautiful women around the world. But welcome, welcome, welcome. Miss Brenda?
Yes, again, I diddle that. Welcome. It has been an amazing bio to read, and I'm just excited that you are here today and to talk about an everyday history maker. You truly are more than a conqueror because there's so many things in your bio that you had to push past to get to where you're at. So we're excited to hear about that. But Doc, one thing I want to say is not only is she an everyday history maker, but she's also the first civilian trained African American female pilot hired at Delta Airlines. Don't we want to know about that? Don't we want to know about how that made you feel not to be the first African American making history and then being in that position?
Oh, well, thank
Share with
you.
us.
First and foremost, thank you very much for having me and this opportunity just to shed light on what an amazing career this is and the opportunities for young women and young people all over the world. It was very exciting. I think it was exciting, but it's also one of those things where, okay, that's good. Now I have to go to work. Now we have to, that's great that I opened the door, but you got to keep it open. And you got to pave the way and you got to keep going and you have to do a great job. So it's one thing to open the door, but you want to keep it open for others to follow. And so it's one of those things where, thank you, I'm humbled. Now the work starts. And so, too much is given, much is expected, not to be, cliche with anything, but it's like I said, it's one thing to open the door, but now I want the floodgates to open. And so now it was time to get to work. It's like, thank you. That's amazing to know. Now here comes the real work to really open this door and to pave the way for others.
And, in paving the way, First Officer Cook, do you believe that you started the nonprofit fast because you knew that there was more than just getting inside of the cockpit and flying the plane? You knew that there had to be a multiplicity of ways in order to keep the vital cycle of great, brilliant women coming through. Is that one of the reasons? And share with us a little bit about your mission concerning the organization FAST.
That is a wonderful perspective. And that's exactly what it was. So myself, as well as a few other amazing female pilots, it was this gap. You get into the flight deck, but our life is so different. We don't have a 9-to-5. How we raise our children, how we connect with our spouses, how you even meet your spouse. You have Tuesdays afternoon off. You don't have Saturday nights off to go hang out like your friends do, so everything in this group, it was this gap and this void that needed to be filled, because it's one thing to be great inside the flight deck. Now let's be great outside the flight deck, because we are very well trained. We know exactly what we're doing. We know exactly what we want, but it's very, very challenging. And not that you can't do it, but we don't have the same challenges of a 9-to-5 or someone that just works Monday through Friday or someone that has half the month. We're not entrepreneurs. Like, there's so many gaps in our lifestyle, our passion, everything we do with flying, everything else trickles down from that. How I raise my children, how I travel, how I connect with my spouse, how I connect with my friends. And so that's what FAST is all about. How to be your best inside that flight deck and to provide these incredible women with resources, but also how to be your best outside the flight deck. How do you connect with others? How do you, tips on raising your kids? How do you stay connected when you're 5,000 miles away 3 days a week? There's no meal planning for us. There's no dating plan for us. There's no parenting plan for us. So we have to figure it out. So if you bring all of these like-minded women together, the synergy and the power of that, it's been absolutely incredible. And FAST has just been brilliant. And as you mentioned, our mission to elevate, empower, and to encourage female pilots worldwide, because you can do this. There is a stigma around this industry that you can only be a man, or you have to be in the military, or you can't do this and have a family. And all of those are not true. And 12,000 women are proof of that.
Did you hear what she said? Not 12, not 1,200. Sister said 12,000. And the numbers, as the young people will say, is in the receipts. She's showing us the receipts. Show me the receipts, like Jerry Maguire. Show me the money. Okay. So the money is in the receipts. And we love that here. And I'm gonna, let Brenda come up with the other question. But as a piggyback to that, one of the things I love that you said, and I can feel from your passion, First Officer Don, is that this whole thing about empowerment in women and really understanding the power of that, which is one of the reasons why we started the LDL Empowerment Institute. It's a learning hub where learning never ends, but you always come to the knowledge of truth. And we based it on 3 John chapter 2. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as you're so prosper. You can do a lot of things in the marketplace. I'm educated. All these women are educated. They've gone to school. Some have been Harvard trained, Berkeley trained, Stanford trained. But my biggest thing I've watched over the last 30 years is once you're trained, now what? Now what? What's happening after the training? What's happening, ongoing? And so as a result of that, you started the organization. Now, what do you do for self-care when you are by yourself?
That is such a wonderful question because it's so easy to talk the talk and not walk the walk. The first thing I do, and my husband's going to laugh because he's like, this is something you should have done for a while. Stop, slow down. We go, go, go. We're always type A driven women. We're going 100 miles per hour and we don't even realize it. A friend of mine, she's like, you're like a duck. You look calm, but your mind, it's constantly moving like their little feet. You're going 1,000,000 miles per hour. The first thing I do, just stop, just slow down. Even if that means you have to schedule that time in to just take a minute, have a cup of tea and just listen. Because everything you just said, Dr. Long, we read the books, we go to school, we do the studying, but we are who we are waiting for. We are that hidden puzzle piece. We are that missing piece. But if we don't stop and give ourselves a moment to just listen to our intuition, listen to what is the universe telling you? What is God telling you? We're going so fast, we can't hear it. And it's a quiet voice. So the first thing that if things feel out of sorts, or I feel like I'm going too fast, just stop and slow down. That can be a long walk. That can be, just an afternoon of me. It doesn't have to be all, pretty and pampering, but it's just, that's my cue that I need to slow down because someone is trying to tell me something, but I can't hear it if I don't take the time to listen. And so it sounds counterintuitive because my biggest thrills are to go 500 miles per hour. But what I really need to do and what really resonates and what speaks to me and where my power comes from is when I slow down to 0.
Wow. And somebody that has to bring a big old Airbus in the air, and be 33,000 miles up above the earth, slowing down seems like it's not the thing, but I totally understand. I'm total type A times 2, and they keep begging me to go to sleep. But as long as there are 1,000,000 women that do not know about what we're doing, we're not going to sleep until 1,000,000 women are getting free with the weight of the world. And so I'm just elated for you to be here. Brenda, what's your question?
Right. I would like to kind of continue on that. And I love what you said too about just stopping and slowing down, because that's being in the moment, being aware of what's going on, be aware of what's going on in your family with your children. And I was trying to go that direction with having 2 pilots in the household. You're not your husband and you are a pilot and you have 2 young children. How do you find the balance for QT time with both your children and your husband? Because we know that our husbands need that quality time with us. So how do you bring that balance into your family?
That is such a wonderful and multifaceted question. So one of the things that I found powerful are the mistakes that I made to help guide me. You win or you learn. You didn't really make mistakes. These are just lessons that you need to take. And for a long time, I did. I filled my plate with everything, but you don't really see Steve Jobs said, and I'm going to butcher this, the breadcrumbs you don't really see until you look back, not when you're looking forward. So there came a time where I just really had to stop, and you have to ask yourself, and you have to be honest with yourself. Again, you are who you have been waiting for. You are who you have been waiting for. What's important? What's truly, genuinely important to you? Because if you say it's your family, if you say it's your spouse, if you say it's you and putting yourself first, and then I look at your day and it's filled with everything but that, You're not being honest with yourself.
Mm.
So when you really sit down, and two things, what is really important to you, be honest with that. And then you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And when I say that, I mean, you have to take a good long look, and you're going to have to make those decisions and tell people, no, tell people I'm not attending, tell people my daughters come first, or I have a date with my husband, or I have an appointment. Maybe that appointment is with yourself. But when you start to feed what you value, your life slowly starts to evolve around that. And we've had to do that. There are lots of work opportunities. There was a lot of opportunities with my nonprofit. I couldn't do it all by myself. I had to get help and get a team, because what I truly valued is my time and making sure my strength trickles down from the top. When I get my sleep, when I'm my best, when I'm a good mom, when I've slept, when I'm healthy, when I've exercised, I've taken care of my body and my soul. That's when I'm my best. But you have to make time for that. I cherish my husband. He is my king. He is amazing. And I want my daughters to see what a powerful Black marriage is. You have to make time for that. And I cherish my daughters. They need to know how strong they are and how powerful they are. They're not going to get that message if mommy is constantly doing for others and never taking time to feed their souls. And so there were a good couple of months where the opportunities, no. Can you volunteer? No. Can you take on this task? No. Can you pick up this extra work trip? No.
No.
No. And you have to prioritize that, but you have to hold on to it. And the last thing I tell people is, you're not here to make everybody else feel good. You can't. It's just not possible. You would love to say yes to these opportunities. Maybe you can direct them in a different, I can't. However, I know that such and such can help. This isn't something I can do, but here is a website, or here is a workbook, or here's some other source that can help you, that it's not directly my time. But those are two big things. What are your values? What do you truly love? And get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because if you don't feed into that, it's almost like a garden. If you don't water the flowers, you don't take care of them, you're just going to get a bunch of weeds. And those are things that really don't matter. You don't want that. You want the lilies and the roses, but you got to take care of them. You have to show them love and make those a priority.
You know, in talking about feeling love and feeling the priority in a world system today where racism is at an all-time high, institutional racism, the disenfranchisement of Blacks and Latinas and things of that nature across the board, industry-wise, I am sure you have experienced that. And although, you know, we've been blessed to have a level of favor for those who are kingdom people, and God kind of he shelters us at times when he just knows we need a break from all of the bricks. You know what I'm saying? And bricks can be, you know, words that are spoken to us that are harsh, or they could be laws put in place that are harsh as well. In light of all of that, both you and your husband taking on a job that is very prestigious, flying an airplane. I value you pilots. I pray for you every time I step on the plane, every single time. And ask the angels of the Lord to be in the cockpit with you. So if you ever see a third person, it's my angel, I promise you. So, so with that being said, First Officer Don, how have you combated sort of the double bind of being a woman, being a Black woman, being a pilot, not just a pilot, you're first officer. You got the credentials of a first officer. How have you dealt with racism or discrimination to any degree on any level? And feel free to give a situation, you don't have to give names, but just so we can have a context about what you've had to do and how you've kept your mental sanity to be able to keep performing at an excellent level.
Oh, what a wonderful question. And I think it's very interesting, especially, and it's not just for myself. I think it's anyone who's in a professional realm right now, whether you are a doctor, lawyer, my older sister is a dentist. These concepts, these words, they're not veiled in the Jim Crow aspect like they were years ago. They're more cryptic, they're more between the lines, and it's things that you need to recognize very quickly if you go into an industry to where you don't look like everyone else. You have two choices. You always have choices. You're always in control. You can either let that break you down, or you can let that fuel your fire. And I chose the latter of the two. So one thing that you have to understand going into this industry, especially, is one, you don't look like everybody else. You're not going to be, and two, you're not going to always be accepted. And three, get over it. It's not about you. This is what I want to do, but this is about my daughters being able to fly and not being bothered. Little girls that look like me that are going to be able to fly and not question, what are your credentials? Oh, well, where did you get your flying? Oh, well, how did you learn to fly? So those are the things I'm talking about. So when it comes to that, I just had to make that decision very early on. Do I really want to do this? And here are all the challenges that I'm going to have and all the nastiness and disgusting words and things that are going to be thrown my way. Do I still want to do this, or do I want to turn my back? And I still wanted to do it because it wasn't about me. One day, every pilot will have, every pilot, whether they're Indian American, Asian American, African American, they'll just see the stripes and then, oh, they're a pilot. They won't question them. They won't look at them and, well, why aren't you in the kitchen? Or I didn't know they let you have fly. Those things are going to be a thing of the past. So those are the things that, you would just have to ask yourself, do you want to keep going or do you want to quit? And like I said, I decided I will not quit. And to kind of get through that, you learn really quick that you're constantly being challenged and you step up to the plate. Yes, I was asked extra questions that were not necessary. Yes, I was tested on details that were never asked of maybe my other students in the class. Yes, I was given longer exams. Yes, I was given harder exams. Yes. Oh, all the time. All the time. It's not blatantly someone coming in your face in this industry saying, well, no, because you're an African American woman. No, this is everybody else's bar. This is your bar. Meet it and move on. End of discussion. But if you come into the game knowing that it's going to be harder, then you work harder. I know, and every woman in my group knows you have to work twice as hard to prove you're half as good. That's just how it is right now. And we're slowly breaking that barrier down with more women coming in and us being more of the status quo and more faces that look like us, and just people learning that this stigma, when you accept it, you tolerate it, but that's not okay. And so it's small steps, just like, the tiny sands, in an hourglass. It's just these small steps and they will build up. They genuinely will build up. But you have to go into this knowing that you're going to have to work twice as hard and understand that your discrimination and your racism and your sexism, they are coming at you in very, very creative ways, ways that you might not expect. But listen to your gut. Something is not right. It's because it's not. And there's sometimes that, it's a blatant and it's very egregious. And, it's years ago, I was at a flight department, not where I currently am. This is all during training. And I just simply wasn't given the opportunity to take a test. They're like, oh, well, we didn't think you would want to. Well, why would I not want to succeed like everybody else? Oh, well, we just didn't think you were interested. Well, I'm in the same class. I'm in the same program. And so just, small things like that, to where sometimes higher up leadership needs to get brought into the conversation. But many times it's just that extra question that doesn't need to be asked. Everybody else got this version of a test, yet you get a different one, and so that's okay. That's all right, because I know the rules, therefore I can win.
Wow. That is intense. I could totally do a follow-up with that, but Brenda, I'm gonna shoot the mic over to you. I've got so many follow-up questions that I think that our live audience would be interested in, because I think we're in a time in which there's so many mixed messages. We're talking about equality, and right now, God bless our Asian counterparts, but now there's a whole thing about, Asians and no hate and this, that, the other. And trust me, I think that there is some Asian in my background, hence the last name Long. And my father looked totally Vietnamese, to be honest. And I came out very chocolatey, so I don't know how that all worked out, but I do think, though, that there is something to be said about what you said. The one thing that I really want to highlight is the power of excellence. And I think that Black people, if I just can contextualize for a moment, we have survived because we've been a people that have been focused on excellence. And we've been a people that have focused on the power of God and trusting God. We've got the Harriet Tubmans and all the different ones, and Mary Cloud Bethune, and just all the different ones, Sojourner Truth. And then we've even got, you know, the up-to-date ones that we have even today, our vice president and others as well. Michelle Obama, First Lady Michelle Obama, which is incredible that for 8 years under scrutiny, oh my God, they couldn't break her. They couldn't break her. And they couldn't break her on a variety of different ways. She just paved her own way. And I think you just spoke that sentiment, First Officer Cook, to us, to pave the way, number one, by not fearing challenges, accepting it, and doing well in it, knowing that the rules have been changed because of us. It's a hard pill to swallow, but can we encourage you guys today, those, whether you're in a job, corporate America, wherever you are, that is just where it's at. We don't have time to muddle over the rules that they've done. Let's just get past the rules and move forward. Brenda.
Yeah, the Lord is my strength and my salvation. I tell you, when you said, Miss Dawn, you either win or you learn.
Yes.
And I love that so much. And I felt that when you talked about breaking barriers, as I read your bio, you broke that barrier when you were a senior in high school.
Yes.
When you think about the counselor that you had who suggested that you look for alternative, look for something else, because I think he said something about that you didn't want to set yourself up for disappointment if you stuck with being a pilot. Share with us how you pushed past, because that couldn't have felt good in that moment. And we're talking about breaking barriers. We're talking about racism. We're talking about, us pushing past that. You did that in a senior year, and Doc mentioned that there are several young women that are watching. There's several young women that may want to go that direction. Their counselor might try to tell them the same thing. What did you do? Share with us how you pushed past it.
So I will say, as a young woman, I was, and I still am to this day, blessed to have an incredible mother, an example of courage and strength and just ignoring what the naysayers say. Even her pushing her child to be a pilot, a young Black woman pushing her young Black child to be a pilot, people thought she was crazy. You know, you can be a level of aviation, but not that. No, that's just not appropriate. And so, yes, my guidance counselor, my senior year, I told him the schools that I wanted to apply to. And he did say, you're going to set yourself up for disappointment. People like you don't fly. And I thought, well, okay, all right, very angry at first, wanted to cry because this was my only access to the outside world. You're supposed to pull these schools in and help me reach them. This is before internet and Google. And my only source that I thought I had says no. So I didn't know what to do. Very frustrated, lots of emotions. You can imagine being 17 and you're dealing with cute boys in the prom. And by the way, your dream just got crushed. It's a lot going on. It was a bad day. It was a bad day. And so I will say, again, just reaching out to my mom and the resources I had is just like, what do you do? And my mom's first words, she was like, forget him. I was like, well, what do we do? She's like, well, it's no to him. It's not no to us. And so that's when she told me, you need your next breath and a belief in yourself. That's all you need. God will figure it out. God will find a way. If this is what you want to do, you stay on this. We don't need him. We don't need anybody else. Other people have figured out how to fly. We will too. And so just with that, knowing I had that in my corner and just planting that seed, I have taken that and I share that with my girls. You need your belief in yourself and your next breath. That is it. It doesn't matter if your teachers don't believe in you, your friends think you're crazy. Some of your family might not even think what you want to do is a good idea. But you have been still with yourself. You know that this is the direction you need to go. You know that this is the next step you need to take. You know that this is the school you need to apply to. This is where your life is leading you. Then you keep going. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be, You just flip the switch. There's no app for that. It's going to be hard work and grit, but all you need are those two things. And I thought, I can do that. I can believe in myself, and especially as angry as he made me, he fueled my fire, and a little bit of stubbornness in there. Like, how dare you tell me no? Watch me, And so just a combination of that, but all you need. And it was rough. I'm not saying I walked out there and, I found my superwoman cape and I was ready to take on the world. No, I was crushed. I was genuinely crushed. But in a situation like that, never would I let somebody like that see me cry. I just said, okay, thank you. And, went home that day because it was after a school event. So, the day was over, and just reached out to my mom, and I just thought I was just heartbroken. Like, the one avenue, this is all I had to connect me to these outside schools. And he told me no. So having that, and almost just pivot my perspective and just realizing it's not one person that takes your dreams. It's you that keeps them alive. And that's all you need. That's all you need.
Listen, listen. I've got so many of your tweetable moments, so you'll see the tweets all over the place. First Officer Don Cook hashtag. Listen, the first one, I want all of you guys that are watching us by Facebook Live, YouTube. Listen, no to them is not no to us. Oh my gosh, love that. So the very next time that you get a no, you say, hey, that's no to you, not to me. You said it, but I don't have to believe it. You said it, I don't even have to hear it. I love it. And then the other one, you said, believe in yourself and the next breath that you have. That's the only thing you need. And I'm all for it. I am telling you, you have fueled my energy. Yes, I see you 1 million women doing stuff that we've not done, having things we've not had, with money we don't have. Nike be coming after you with our name on our shoes. Nike and WIOG. How about that? Put that in the air and let it land. Puma too. We'll sign all the contracts. Adidas also. Who says we have to just do one? Let them fight, but give us our coins so we can do what we need to do to help 1 million women. Oh man, that blessed me so much. Brenda, do you have a follow-up?
Not to that, but I say kudos to you, girl, for that, Miss Dawn, because you just spoke to a multitude of people about those and the power to say when to say yes and when to say no. I do want to flip it a little bit, because a little birdie told me, I don't know how many years ago, but that you were actually on the Harry Connick Jr. syndicated show.
Yes.
And you were there because it was you as a pilot and a captain in the cockpit at the same time. Doc mentioned it earlier, but share with us with how that was.
Oh, first of all, that was such a magical moment. And Captain Stephanie Johnson is an incredible, absolutely incredible woman. And so at our company, and we've talked about this on the show, there were two major events. And first, that it was Black History Month. And second, for the first time ever, two African-American female pilots were on the same aircraft. Now, you have to be on the same type of aircraft, trained on the same type of aircraft to be able to fly together. And so Stephanie had just checked out as captain, and I was a first officer. So this was the only time that this would be able to happen. And so I reached out to her and I said, hey, do you want to fly together this month? It would be a lot of fun. So I had to do some maneuvering of our schedules because she was in a different base. So in order for us to fly together, I had to, call a couple pilots and ask for their trips and move things around and call scheduling. And it worked out great. So literally the last few months of February, we finally made it together and we flew a 3-day trip. And it was a historical trip as an airline community. And we were the first two African-American female pilots to pilot a flight. And we did it for several days, and it was absolutely amazing. You thought heads turned when there were African-American men flying or women in general, but two African-American women, people genuinely did not know what we were doing at the gate together. Are you just friends? Are you meeting up? No, we're your pilots. Both of you together? Really? I'm like, yes, both of us together. And, people came up and took pictures with us, and it was fun because she is just this amazing piece of humble pie. To us, we were just working together and having the best time, and we're friends anyway. And we had a wonderful trip and had no idea that it would lead to anything. We knew it was historical. We are well aware of that. But for the mass public to learn of its history-making event, and then to meet up with Harry Connick and to be on this kind of platform to just share what's possible and how amazing this career is. And she's incredible. She does wonderful volunteer work with young kids coming up to spread the word. And she's just a beautiful soul. So it was wonderful to share a moment and share a piece of history and just move forward with her and just to keep talking about it, because she's just an incredible woman. And it was really an honor, an absolute honor to, take that piece of history and make it with her.
So
Wow.
beautiful.
Yeah, I read that article and it was in 2017, and I thought and saw the picture of the two of you, and you actually kind of look like you could be sisters, a little bit. And yeah, that black don't crack and that melon goes a long way.
Thank goodness.
Right, I know
It's
what
been a
you
long
mean,
day.
sister. I'm in that same boat. We're everyday history makers around the eyes. Do you understand me? Yeah.
Mhm.
So when I read the article, I just beamed with so much joy. Not merely for me, it's not just that you're a Black woman or that you're, first African American. It was the fact that you said you would do it and then you did. I'm big on, a lot of people, I'm a bona fide believer, Christian, love God, love Christ, so glad, want the world to know, now you know, right? But I'm a marketplace evangelist. And I tell you, one of the big things that I love is that we get a chance to actualize the faith that we say we have, because God's faith is not dead works. It's about get up. If you see a dream, go make the dream happen. So to read your article said, you guys decided, even through the push and through the tears unseen, you still pressed and you put your smile on and put your pumps on and you kept walking and got into the cockpit. And so I started looking at all the levers and all the things and the throttle and I was doing some research on it. And then when it got to all those hard parts, I said, you know what? I'm going to let first officer talk about that because I don't know what it is, and 2.5 and wait till this go in the air. And I'm just like, listen. And so I just became proud. And so as a follow-up, you said something, and I was laughing earlier that my mentor just said to me, and I was a little bit upset that he said it. We're getting ready to shoot our first live episode of our talk show this Friday. So I was all excited because I saw the final edited version. Yes, and you will be on it, sister girl, and Stephanie. Let's just make some more history. Yes, okay. And we'll get your husband in there too. Two Black women and a Black man. That's what we'll call it. Oh man, I'm telling you. And when I get enough money to have my own plane, you guys can fly that too. So he had said to me, I called him all excited. Oh my God, it looks so great. Wow, this is so awesome. And I didn't feel any emotion from him. And I was like, dude, like, what's up? And he's like, you made it, but you haven't made it. And I was like, oh Lord, I'm out of here, right? But then you said, that was like the first thing you said is that, hey, I got the job, I'm the pilot, but now comes the hard work. And I started smiling. I don't know if you saw me, I was smiling. So let me ask you, how do you celebrate? What does your wins look like?
That is a very good question. I say the first is sharing with the love of my life. I celebrate just by letting my family know, letting my husband know, look at my win, look at what we did together. There's no me without him. This doesn't work. And so being able to share that with him first, and obviously my daughters, they don't always understand as far as what their parents do. I'll tell you that. They just think we go to work. It really hasn't all sunk in yet of how wonderful a job this is, but definitely sharing. I always just take the time to reflect and think, like, look at this, look in my office, look at these clouds, look at these stars at night. Look, I am in a steel tube with over 150 strangers that are trusting me to get them from A to B. Like, look at this. It's almost, you want to pinch yourself going down the jetway. Like, this is crazy. So those big wins and different things like that, just celebration and gratitude of just a moment with, myself and my God, and, and then, going back and just thanking the big people. My mom, every win she knows about. She came to my first pilot interview. She came to my Delta interviews. She's always been there. Just this amazing silent cheerleader, just so proud. And so just sharing this with the family and friends that I love. Nothing big, nothing over the top, but just more of a, a solid, quiet, we made it. Now what's next? Heels on and move on. Let's go.
Well, listen, just in case, because we're not Oprah, but we're definitely trying to follow her footsteps. Our administration folks and our co-producers letting us know we've got a video that we want to show the rest of the world. So why don't you stay tuned, and we are ready.
History as the first two African-American female pilots to fly together on Delta Airlines. I gotta say how amazing that is. The story of their historic flight went viral, and here's why. This is incredible. Only 5.2% of pilots that fly in the United States are women, and less than 1% are African-American women. Please welcome today's leading ladies, Stephanie Johnson and Dawn Cook. Hi, guys.
Hi. Hello.
So nice to see you. I'm honored that y'all came. Were you surprised by the response?
I was blown away by the response. It really has been amazing. People come up to me that I don't even know and say that they're proud, and they're proud of our accomplishments. And it just really inspires me. It's very moving, and it makes me want to redouble my efforts to share the passion that I have for this job.
It's incredible. It really is. When did you realize that you wanted to become a pilot?
Well, I always was fascinated with airplanes, and I thought, what a great thing just to get off the ground. And I feel lucky that I knew that, and I was able to go to
like as
college.
A little girl?
Yeah, just ever since I can remember. I don't know about you, Dawn. But.
You know, it's a passion that I've always had my entire life. And so like Stephanie, I think it only takes one little moment to plant the seed, and for me, it was a little bit of feeling the fire. I had someone tell me no, and so I figured I will prove you wrong.
Listen, and you keep proving them wrong, and we are excited that you proved them wrong and gave us the right information to keep going. As I'm telling you, I am fueled. Let their no be a no to them, but not a no to us. I'm telling you, I am fueled. I love it, love it, love it. And I just wanted to share because I wanted people to see in real time the power of being able to say yes to your own self. We talk a lot about that in the LDL Empowerment Institute. We also talk about the power of no as well. And so we're just elated that you're just here and excited. And I'm just like overjoyed. I'm like, man, like I want to be a part of the organization. I'm not even a pilot. I just want to see what you guys are talking about. Like flight deck, it all sounds so exciting, but thank you so much. Miss Brenda, do you have another follow-up question?
I am just full because this has just been an historical day. This just really sets the bar on what it takes to be an everyday history maker. And I'm so elated to have you on the show. Yes, you are an everyday history maker, but you're so much more. You're the mother, you're the wife, you are just an amazing woman who I believe I read somewhere, or maybe it was a conversation I had with you, that when you go back to your hotel, you don't sleep. You're working on multiple other things. You're a multitasker. And a couple things that I read about was that you are a motivational speaker. So I want the world to know that. In addition to, you are in the process of birthing a book.
Yes, I am.
We would love to hear about it.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Yes, so I'm about halfway done. It'll be out in the next by the end of the year. But I found with it's a small segment there, my private life coach clients. So I'm also a flight instructor. So I can still currently teach people how to fly. And when you do that, you focus on aviate, navigate, and communicate. And that's what you do. You take control of the plane, you figure out what you want to do, where you want to go, and you effectively communicate that. Well, I found after working with, multiple clients, that's what I'm teaching them. I just took my aviation skills and brought them and created them and made them life skills. And my clients, you aviate, navigate, and communicate your life. You decide, take control of your life. What do you want? Do you want to lose that 10 pounds? Do you want that relationship? Do you want money in the bank? Do you want a better? What do you want? Get rid of the noise and decide what you want and take control. And then you navigate. Well, how are you going to get there? It's one thing to want it, but what do you do? And we get comfortable being uncomfortable. I created a fearless to fearless, meaning things you don't want to do that you're scared, then you do it. And you slowly build that muscle of getting uncomfortable, and you take on the next challenge. And then finally, communicate. Everybody in your life needs to know how to speak Brenda. Everybody in your life needs to know how to speak Dr. Long. We can't make these assumptions, and that's usually what people go on. We live in expectations and assumptions versus agreements and understandings. And I've even trickled it down to my daughters. This is our agreement of what a clean room looks like. I'm not going in there expecting a clean room. We are all on the same page. Or this is my agreement of what, finished homework looks like. And so, but you have to communicate that. And a lot of people, again, they work on assumptions. I had a client that she would come home, and if it was a long day, she would get mad at her husband. He didn't ask about her day. He didn't offer her anything. He didn't give her a hug. And I asked her, I was like, are you expecting these? She said, well, yes, of course. Does he know? Well, he should know. Okay, let's work on that communication, because he's not a mind reader and he has to learn how to speak you. And these subtle ways that you can bring that out, it's not, wanting too much. It's, I had a hard day. Well, here's some ways that they could recognize and they can learn to speak you. So different things like that you can take that into every aspect of your life. And instead of just helping one client at a time, I thought get a bigger, broad reach if, put it on paper. Put it on paper and get it out there to the world to just take control of your life in a very unique way with proven results. You can create a pilot, you can create the results in your life. It's exactly the same with a few tweaks. So.
Wow, I'm just like, just over here getting all of these wonderful nuggets and notes, aviate, navigate, and communicate. And I will definitely be sharing that information with all of our audience. And who is the author of it? We believe in giving credit to who credit is due around this camp. So we will be sharing that came from First Officer Don Cook. So as we are vamping up, and looking at this interview as a time of learning and refreshing, my total appetite of my core values is about sobriety, discipline, and intentionality. So that's my core values. That's 3 out of the 7, right? And so I always like to leave people with a sense that they have been motivated, inspired, they've been taught something has been transferred, and there's been a call to action. I think a lot of times we are listening, but we're not doing anything. And people that know me know, are you going to keep talking about it? Or are you going to do it? Because you're looking at somebody that just had no choice but to do it. $17, 17 years old, going to Berkeley and no place to live. I just knew I got accepted and I was in there, and that was it. And so give the people a call to action, and let's just imagine that these 1 million people are listening to you, and based on what you're going to share, they're going to decide that they're going to be a part of what we're doing. So what's a call to action that you want to share with the audience?
I love that. And that is so, so powerful, because we listen to speakers, we go on Zooms, we read the books, and we feel full for that moment. But what can we take away with that? What can we keep, and what can we put in our toolbox and in our heart to make us feel full tomorrow, to make us feel full next week when we're not on the Zoom? One thing I would love to share with every single woman in this conversation, every person watching this, 3 simple things that you can do every single day when you're trying to figure out your day, what you need to do next, you feel overwhelmed. And you can do this, and I love this. You can do this when nobody even notices. You can just close your eyes for a moment, breathe, be here, and believe in yourself. Just take a deep breath, just breathe. Bring yourself back to the present and be where you are, because this is a gift. Don't worry about the to-do list. Don't worry about what's for dinner. Don't worry about what's happening next week. Focus on right now. So just breathe. And that helps slow, and that we can go into all kinds of internal physical things, but it helps to slow your body down, to slow your brain down. Just breathe, deep breath, breathe it out. That helps you to be here and be present. And just remember to believe in yourself. That's all you need. A deep breath to bring yourself back to the present and believe in yourself. And you start with that breath, because you can do that anywhere. You're feeling frazzled, you're at the grocery store. Just put a hand on that cart, take a deep breath, be here, get what you need from that store. you got this. Just take a deep breath, be where you are, and just believe in yourself. And even if you just need to believe that you can make it to back to the house without crying, without breaking down, you can just make it through the day without, worrying about something or getting frazzled, or you keep bringing up these old memories of the past. Just be here, because you're not going to get this moment back. People say, time is precious. It's the most precious thing. It's more precious than money. You can't put a price on that. We will never get back. What time is it? You will never get back 26 after the hour. That's never going to happen. This conversation, this moment, you cannot get that back. And so just those 3 simple things, I tell all my clients, just take a deep breath. You can do that anywhere. Come back to where you are and believe in yourself. You've got this. You've got this. If that means put down that extra glass of wine, you got this. It's just one moment. Just do what you have to do. If that means doing the extra mile, if that means taking the extra 5 steps, if that means, just filling out that application, if that means calling that person, if that means swiping left or right, whatever that means for you, whatever that moment of courage you need, you do that and you move on and you keep going and you keep believing in yourself. It's almost like I mentioned before, we are who we've been waiting for, but that belief muscle, it's almost an atrophy because it's not built up, because we're constantly thinking it's something else. We need one more thing. We need one more thing before we are where we need to be. And that's not true. You are exactly where you're supposed to be, and just move forward from there. And just those 3 B's, just breathe, be here, and believe in yourself. Now, I also tell my girls, beauty, brains, and boss, that's the secret sauce. So those are some other things you can play with too. Forget sugar and spice, beauty, brains, and boss. That's a girl's secret sauce. So you need that to pick you up too. But that's all you need. It's these simple things that there's so much noise around us. It's so much constant go. It's so much now that we forget to center on who we are, and that our greatest gift is on the inside.
Wow, I am just I'm sitting here, and as you were talking about beauty, brains, and boss, I have a little beauty, brains, and boss. She actually turned 15 years old today, my Kayla Bell, and I just as you said it, she is definitely beauty, brains, and boss. She's currently en route coming back with her dad and brother from Texas. She made him leave. That's why I said she's a boss. She made him leave a day earlier than they were supposed to, because she's got a party going on here on Saturday. And she wanted to make sure that she could get her hair done and her nails done. And she says, I know you said we could leave on Thursday. I don't trust it. We're leaving on Wednesday. And that's the boss in her. And the beauty and the brains also. And so I just, Kayla Bell, I know I'm always working on her birthday, but this is for you. I'm working today so I can pay for Saturday. Amen. And praise the name of the Lord. Somebody, I see a shout out. Yes, I felt that in my spirit. Yes, yes. So, but I wanted to give her a wonderful happy birthday. And the sky is the limit to you. And do you have any words for her? First Officer Don Cook. She's 15. She's a good kid, straight A's. She doesn't give me any trouble until she wants $200 shoes, and I can't figure out why, and I won't give it to her. So if you have any words to her and any other princess that's out there that just needs to hear words for their femininity. I'm big on being a girly and feminine, and I'm so grateful she is too. So it's like she beat me to the punch. She's like, I got this, Mom. I'm totally all feminine, you know? So anything you want to share with her and other young ladies?
Oh, what a lovely opportunity. Oh, beautiful girls. Know your power. Know your power. It doesn't come from the shoes, the jewelry, the hair, the nails. You are incredible. You are absolutely incredible. And there's a reason she wants $200 shoes, probably because she's been hanging in her mama's closet and she sees how gorgeous they are and how amazing they are. More is caught than taught. More is caught than taught. They say, but just know your power. And especially, you know, knowing your power in this world. I think everybody in this conversation, I can't imagine growing up as a 15-year-old where your entire life can be put on display. For those that where it's not even anyone's business. Some of their privacy has been taken away. This little bit of themselves that it's easy to be put on display. I mean, I can't imagine how many, little mistakes I made when I was 15, but to have that be blasted on social media, that's hard. But to know your strength, you are greater than Facebook. You are greater than Instagram. You are greater than the tweet that you didn't like. Those things don't matter, because as you build that strength muscle, you are going to see how amazing you are, and you're going to pave the way for others. So keep your standards high, keep your heels high, keep your head high, and keep moving on. It's so much bigger than that. I tell my girls that all the time. Girl, you hold that head high. Don't let that crown fall. Don't you dare. And hold your head high, not your nose. We can't be snotty about this, but you hold your head high.
I love it. I love it.
God, that's so good.
Wow. It is just, I'm just like so excited. I feel just rejuvenated, and that just is what we want people to feel and to see.
Yes,
For those of you who've been
absolutely.
following us throughout this entire month, we've had some great women speakers. They've all been boss. They've all been brains. I was actually just looking at the pictures and thought, everybody's been gorgeous. They've all been brilliant. They've all come through so many different things. And we pray that it's been some level of inspiration on some way that you feel inspired. Get up off of your butt and go do something in the nicest way I can say it. And don't let excuses get the best of you. We've got to make a difference. We only get 70 summers is what God promised us. 70 summers. And, we ought to make the very best of the 70 summers that God has promised us. I'm looking for 100 myself. So, so we're so grateful. Thank you again so much, First Officer Don, for just being present and being here. I am just so appreciative. I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon. Thank you, Miss Brenda, for getting her here, and to your sister Diane that made the connection. And it matters who knows who. This is why we've got to have great relationships. I'm big on relationships and follow up. And so thank you for being able to reach out so that we can have this kind of environment on tonight. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. It is so good. And Don, I just have one last thing. When can we expect your book to be available?
No, actually, my agent asked the same thing. I'm talking to her on Sunday. So at the latest July, my book will be out in July.
Woo.
Yes.
Who knows? Maybe we can include that in our 100-day celebration that we'll be having in August. So we'll find out. Absolutely. That
now
book rate. Absolutely.
Motivation.
I love it, Doc. That's perfect. That's great.
Yes, I believe in supporting, not by word, but also in deed. So if we get 200, you guys to sign up for it, and we'll maybe put that in as a part of the little gift. Yes.
Oh, how fun. How fun. This is such an honor. Thank you both so much. And thank you. Just genuinely, thank you so much, just to shed light on what we are capable of, what we can do. This is such a pleasure. Thank you so much both for your time, and everyone on this panel for coordinating and just making the time. We have plenty of things on our to-do list. I know we all do, but making the time for something like this that is out in the universe for young girls to see, for next generations to see, for people to share. This was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
The honor is all of ours. I'm getting all tongue twisted because I'm so full of emotion, and just the reality that sometimes I think we bypass the great people. I've learned that the greatest way to show your gratitude is to honor those who are making a difference right now. And so we honor you in the sincerest way, and we pray great blessings over you everywhere you go. May the Lord God be with you. May the blessings of God overshadow you, the favor and the presence of God. And may you know that God Almighty is with you every step of the way. And Delta is one of my favorite. I'm a Delta long hauler, so I'm actually going to be flying in a couple of weeks. Hopefully you'll be my pilot. Hallelujah. On my way to that ATL. Hallelujah. But,
you better look up front.
I'll look up front. I need that first class hookup. That's, black folks. Oh God, I love my life. I'm telling you, people know you wanted to say it. Y'all wanted to say that, so I said it for you. So I love my life. So it has been my joy, my honor, my pleasure. Hang on with us. We're just going to let our Facebook Live folks know we are out of here. We love you. We pray that it's been enjoyable. YouTube, hang in here with us. We are going to bring more of the best and the brightest all over the world, both men and women. If we thought that her husband was nearby, we will snag her husband in like we did last week. We snagged her, the lady's husband in, and it was great. It was great to have the lady's husband in as well. So thank you guys. Facebook, we love you here at LDL Empowerment Institute. Members, we love you as well. And we are out on Facebook, but just hang on for just a moment and we'll be with you guys on the back end and the back office.
Let's see, longest flight, probably about 12 hours. And that, yeah, it was a little bit of a headwind. So 12 hours, and it should have taken about 8 to get from Atlanta all the way to Alaska. So we had a little bit of a headwind. Yeah, a long day. It's pretty much, if you got in the plane at noon, you wouldn't get there till midnight. Yeah, it was a very long day. Very long.
Thank you.
You're welcome, darling. Thank you.
I love that. Oh my God, this is so exciting.
Sweet.
Thank you so much, Miss Eden. Oh, any other questions? Anybody?
I have a question, and I'm asking on behalf of my son because he texted me a question for you. He's going into aerospace engineering, and he wanted to know, like, what's your advice for a minority going into the field, because he's already dealing with, pretty much being like the only Black boy in his classes and stuff. So what would be your advice to him, just kind of being able to force forward in that field?
And it's a challenge, because this is not the only time he's going to be the only young African-American in his field. He's going to be the only one in the interview room. He's going to be the only one at his office, and he's going to be the only one. Because all eyes are on him, you take a deep breath and you shine. It's okay to be the only, because that means you're probably the greatest. It's okay to be the only one there, because they're looking at you, and that gives you a moment to shine. Don't dim your light because you don't look like others. Shine brighter because you're the only one.
Wow.
And because this is not the first time that I was the only woman in class. I was the only woman of color in every interview I practically had. And okay, those are the cards you're dealt. But if this is what you want, that's just noise. That's just noise, and it's a distraction that you're the only one. That is just outside, just outside fluff. Oh no, you're the only one. If that's going to get you down, it's not going to work out. If that's what's going to make you stop, this wasn't the road for you. So you keep going. It's okay to be the only one. I want to be the only one, because now you guys can see how it's done. Because if I have to work twice as hard to prove I'm half as good, what is your excuse? So let him be the only one. Be the only one in everything, because that way he'll have to be so good they can't forget him. So be the only one. It's okay. That's not a bad thing. People see that as you stick out. It's a bad thing. No, I stick out, and I'm going to show you how it's done. So if he can just pivot that mindset and not be so focused that he's the only one, and pivot it so that I am the only one. That's right. I am the only one, and take that and shine versus have all of those other people be noise around him. Again, it's just a pivot of the mindset. That's it. Just pivot that mindset. This is a good thing. This is not a bad thing that you're the only one. It's a good thing. And then once he is great, he's leading the way, and it's others. And that next class, there'll be 2. And that next class, there'll be 3. And that next class, it'll be 4. But if it's going to start with somebody, why not start with him?
We have a hand up. Thank you so much, Tiffany. LaTanya, we see your hand up to ask the question for Zykia.
Hello. Thank you so much, Ms. Cook, for that amazing presentation. My 13-year-old daughter is here with me, but she does not want to be on camera, so we're going to respect that. But she wants to know what the career path looks like to get to your position, as far as education-wise. Like, what steps did you have to take to get to become where you are today?
Okay, That's a wonderful question. And I totally understand she doesn't want to be on camera. That's no problem, but she can hear me. There are two different steps that I would tell any young person if you're going, hey, gorgeous, if you're going to go into education or aviation, I'm sorry. There's the educational aspect, and then there's the internal aspect. So education wise, you're in middle school, you want to do well in math, you want to do well in science, you know, please do well in art and anything else that you gravitate towards. When you go to college, you want to go to a college that speaks to you. It doesn't have to be aviation related. You can go to Howard, you can go to Hampton, they have a small program, but you don't have to do aviation there. You can do aviation after. So there are lots of ways to kind of get from A to B in this industry, but you're always going to want to focus on your grades. That shows that you are teachable, that you are capable, and it's just a math test, but that math and that knowledge trickles down to other skills that you have within. So those are the ways as far as getting from A to B. Once you get those aviation skills, you're going to build those up, and you're just going to go from small aircraft to larger and larger and larger, and you're just building, just stepping stones to experience. But the one thing she's going to definitely want to do, get solid grades in high school for math and science, get solid grades once you're in a college that works for you. And the other aspect is the personal aspect. So yes, you're doing great with school, but you have to have that courage within, because you got to go to bed early. You got to say no to those parties sometimes. You got to say no to those friends sometimes, because you have to get up early and you have to fly. You have to say no to maybe those distractions or the things that maybe your friends want you to do that you don't want to, because you got to go fly and you can't have anything on a personal record. So it takes a lot. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of that education and just holding on to those grades and doing what's right and buckling down. But it also takes a lot of that internal courage and building that muscle of self-esteem and strength, and knowing that others might want me to go down this path, but I need to say no, because that party looks really good and he's really cute, but I have to get up and fly an airplane at 6 a.m. I have to get up and study. I have to test with the FAA tomorrow. So I can't do these things, because the great life is on the other side of that. So definitely the school and the education, but also the personal yes and no.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. The great life is on the other side. That's the standout point for me. Thank you for answering that question for her. I appreciate you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
All right.
Anyone else would like to ask our wonderful guest a question?
I have a question, Doctor.
Okay, let's
Can you hear me?
I can. Is that Rhonda?
Right. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Give me
ma'am.
1 second to find where you at. Okay. You're on.
Okay. Thank you for all those wonderful nuggets that you dropped. First Officer Don Cook, God bless you. You said something about expectations and assumptions versus agreements, and one other word. I didn't catch the last word.
Oh, agreements and understandings.
Agreements and thank you.
You're very welcome.
That was a heavy nugget, sis. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. And we all do it. I think everybody speaks, Dawn, not until I communicate with you effectively, so that you can, and everybody's capable of learning.
Anyone else? Wow, I am so excited. I feel like I won $1 billion. I'm telling you, I am just not be going to sleep tonight. Telling you.
Awesome. Well, it's truly been amazing in here this evening, and we're so glad to have Ms. Cook with us. Just wonderful. Made me want to sing I Believe I Can Fly for the next 5 days. Just wonderful. If there are no other questions, oh, I see one. Yes, Miss Karen has her hand up. Let's go ahead and bring her on. You're on, Miss Karen.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, Dawn. How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. You have blessed me so. Sometimes I love the way that you push your children and knowing that they can conquer the world. And in doing that, I did that same thing with my 2 sons. And I felt like I poured so much into them, and I'm blessed that they've been successful to this day. Of course, my oldest one is in medical, was in medical school, and being the only Black, he had to go through so many trials and tribulations, and it helped me to push him. But now that I've pushed my sons, I'm having trouble pushing myself now. So I would like to know, I know I'm much older than you are and you're not at that stage yet, but you may have a little nugget that you can tell me how, not just with, I do everything with God, but what else can I do? Because I feel like, okay, do I have any more push in me? What can I do to continue to strive and say, okay, now they're out the way, now it's time for me.
Oh, that is a wonderful question. First off, congratulations. Medical field, two amazing sons. Congratulations. I love that. And I know my girls are much smaller, but the clients that I do work with, we get this as moms. We give, give, give. We forget to give to ourselves all the time. And so just this brief conversation we've had, the two things that I would maybe share: trust. Trust, they're good. They're out the nest. Trust, they're gonna make those decisions. You've done a great job. Trust in that. Sit in that and just be so proud of that. It's not that you don't have to give anymore. You just don't have to give at that level. They will always need you. I still need my mom. I call her almost every day. If she doesn't pick up, I'm like, what are you doing? I'm calling you. What are you doing? We will always need you. But trust that you did a good job and give yourself some grace. It's okay. It's not selfish. It's not wrong. It's not guilty. It's necessary. It's necessary for you to start taking care of yourself now. And I tell my clients, it's a fountain effect. When you're good, it trickles down to everything else in your life. When you're happy, that joy trickles down to your sons. When you're rested, when you feel good, when you look good, when those pants aren't so tight and you're like, oh, look at me. Okay. All right. Yes. It feels good and it trickles down to everything else in your life. Give yourself permission to be happy. And then the last thing I would ask, what do you want? What are you pushing for? What do you want? And just sit with that. It doesn't have to be answered right now, but what does Karen want? What does Karen want her days to be like? What do you want her weeks to be like? What do you want to look back on and say, this is what made 2021 great for you? Your boys are good. They are good. Trust in that, sit in that, be proud of that. Now it's time to take care of you and start building that fountain so it trickles down to everything else in your life. But you have to decide, what do you want? Just genuinely, it could be whatever you want. That's the beauty of this. We are made in God's image and likeness, and it's whatever we want. We are so powerful. But ask yourself, sit with that. What do you want? And give yourself that grace. It's, again, banish those words. There's no guilt. There's no selfish. It's not wrong. No. If your son said, oh, well, I keep giving, but I can't give to myself, you would say, no, you can't. You would tell your son, you've got to take care of yourself. You've got to get rested. You've got to be happy. You have to find joy. Why would you not give that to yourself as well? And that's when it trickles down to everything else. But you have to decide what you want. What do you want? Does that help a little bit?
It helped tremendously. Thank you so very much.
Oh, you're so very welcome. Yes. Oh, what a joy. Thank you.
Well, I think if there's no other persons that need to ask any questions, I think that is all. We don't want to let you go, but we know we got to let you go so you get some rest and get back into the friendly skies. But truly, again, it is our honor, First Officer Don, for being with us. I feel like I've known you for a long time. I love your authenticity, your transparency. I love your relativeness and your relentlessness. I can just feel the vibe. You've encouraged, inspired. You are not just a talker. You are definitely a doer. I can feel that in my bones. It is encouraging to feel that from one sister to the next, and we pray that all the sisters that heard, that they feel the same way. So much love, much blessings, and it's my joy. Brenda, do you have anything else you would like to share?
Yeah, I just want to say you are completely remarkable. I just love you. I can't wait to meet you live. There's a couple things that you said that's going to stick with my spirit, and I said it before. When you win, you learn. Um, and then the other one is believe in yourself and your next breath. Every time I doubt, every time I think I'm losing confidence, I'm going to continue to believe in myself and my next breath. Whatever comes out of my next breath, I'm going to believe that was for me and what God has for me. I truly thank you for making time. Just making yourself available. I know you probably have a flight in the morning. I don't know, and I know there it's almost 10 o'clock. So I wish you nothing but well blessings. Rest up and be ready for whatever God has for you tomorrow because you certainly deserve it. So thank you for a great Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all to everyone. This fills my heart and my soul with so much joy to know that we can connect on such a level, where strangers can just come together and pay it forward and push forward and make tomorrow better for so many other people. This has been an absolute honor. Thank you so much, both of you and everyone in this incredible community. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And be on the lookout for our Walking Off Girl 100-day challenge. It starts April 26th. We'll make sure that at least we'll send you the information that if you know some women that just need to walk off the way to the world and be a part of an extraordinary community that will give them what Harvard cannot. And I love all the Ivy Leagues. And I went to a great university, but there's something that Harvard cannot give. And we believe we have a little bit of something we can share with them. So we're looking forward to that opportunity and I'm excited. So that's all we got. Much blessings, much love. I think that Shalene wants the
yes, if the team could just stay back.